Yes, hi, my name's John Mueller. I'm the art director of Diablo IV.
I'm Joe Piepiora. I'm the associate game director for Diablo IV.
You know, my role as art director is really to elevate all of the artists that work on the team and to bring their work to all of you in incredible fashion in Diablo IV, which is launching on June 6th.
Yeah, so as the associate game director responsible for game systems in the live service, I work with the class and system feature teams. I work with our live service group, so we're working on our seasons and on the pack content. Very excited about delivering these things to players in our post-launch environment and continuing to iterate on the game based on the feedback that we receive.
Yeah, I think for Diablo IV, I mean, working on a Diablo game, it's an honor. You know, it's like you have a lot of pressure. Some of it's yourself, some of it's the community that you feel that, they want different things. I think for the art direction of Diablo IV and for the artists who work on Diablo IV, it's just, Diablo IV is a love letter to Diablo. We are passionate players and passionate artists, and we have made a game that we're really proud of, that we feel we have added something of our own to the open world. There's a huge open world to explore, tons of incredible story and campaign experiences, the story of Lilith, the story of Inarius, angels and demons. It's a really wonderful experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that it's a really good question. You know, whenever you're working on a game that is like Diablo IV, so I'm going to say like a tentpole of video games for a lot of folks, we tend to take, we're very critical of our own work.
Sure.
First and foremost, because many of the developers themselves, of course, are huge fans. I myself played Diablo 1 in high school growing up. I remember playing it again in college, on PlayStation 1, couch co-op, right, with my girlfriend at the time. It's an important game to a lot of people, so we hold ourselves to account for that. Ultimately, when we think about what Diablo IV needs to be, absent of the pressure, because you need to remove that from the equation so you don't act irrationally, you begin to imagine, like, what is the fourth entry in a series like Diablo need to actually contain? So we look back at the series history. Look at Diablos 1, 2, and 3. Diablo 1, we loved the atmosphere, the dark, cramped confines of the caverns and the catacombs beneath the church in Tristram. The tension that got built as you're going in, opening doors and not knowing really what was going to be on the other side. Thinking about Diablo 2, we had this really complex build making, so players could truly express themselves through the choices they made in the skill tree and in terms of which class they selected as they were playing the game. And then, of course, in Diablo 3, it's just really, really fun to kill demons in that game. It's got some of the best action combat available in the genre. So Diablo 3, we knew that there was a lot we could take from that experience to ensure that we just had really smooth, fun combat we bring into Diablo 4. So when we set out for these things, we knew that we had to pay homage to these elements of the game's past and bring those forward into the future, where we could introduce these concepts, along with some new ones, to a whole generation of players who've never even tried a Diablo game before, which we're really excited to do. Diablo Immortal actually takes place before the events of Diablo 3, serving as something of a prequel. So it is a real game in that sense. But I think we can understand that the next mainline entry in the series really comes down to Diablo 4 as part of a true follow-up for Diablo 3. So we're very excited about delivering that to players soon. But we're very happy with Diablo Immortal. It was a different game for a different audience, and we think it turned out quite well.
Yeah, in the story of Diablo IV, there's an incredible campaign to explore. The opening of the game that people experienced if you played any of the betas, they got to experience Lilith and her return to Sanctuary. And so the campaign, the story, the open world, all the unexpected things that happen, the Butcher showing up in dungeons and hacking players up to pieces. This is something that has been, these are all things that you can look forward to in Diablo IV. I think all Diablo games, like if even Diablo II Resurrected, which we produced recently, which is a remaster of Diablo II. Diablo 3 had an incredible season recently. It was the season 28, and they're going on season 29, so it's like 10 years of seasons. And Diablo Immortal, they all bring players basically to Diablo, different players from different walks of life. So I think for Diablo 4, it's a brand new it's just the beginning. So we get to see who, I think we've made a game for all fans of Diablo, so we hope they all find it compelling. I love the question. It's very artistic, and so for me as the art director, the thing that I was, and it's funny, we're not far from the Louvre, which when I was 30 years ago, I saw a painting there by Theodore Géricault called Raft of the Medusa. Raft of the Medusa is a pretty well-known painting. It's this incredible, the drama in this story, in this painting, the sort of hope on the horizon, the darkness, the medieval feeling in this painting. When I was asked to think about what I would do with Diablo IV, this was the painting that I had in my mind. I wanted to make a medieval masterpiece. I wanted to make something that people would think of, so when we started as the art team, everything we looked at was like medieval paintings. And it was so much so that it became a pillar for the art team, was the old master's pillar. And so, whether it was Rembrandt or Géricault or different artists of that time, the 1500s, 1600s, and even modern day masters, there was like from the Romantic period, but all like old, what we considered like old paintings of the world that was the angels above, demons below, and mankind being tortured in the middle. This is our own story. This is a human story. And so this is our history. And those paintings is the window into that history. And so it was a really wonderful thing for us to kind of galvanize around for what we thought we would bring to Diablo IV.
Yeah, it's a great question. The truth is we need to have a plan well in advance in order to make sure that we can deliver exciting new content and things for players to experience shortly after launch. We've already mentioned before that Season 1 of Diablo 4 is going to launch sometime in the middle to late July. So giving you over a month and a half to kind of experience the campaign and level up your first character and explore the world of Sanctuary for the very first time. But after that's over and Season 1 begins, this is really our opportunity to start telling new stories, within the world of Sanctuary. The campaign of Diablo 4 will continue, and it will be told through expansion packs that we'll be releasing on a regular basis. But between those, we'll have our quarterly seasons, and each of these seasons will have its own seasonal quest line, will have its own seasonal theme that will also tie into mechanics, new encounters, and other content to be found during the season. So the goal is to make sure that we've got these really fun new experiences for players to engage with every time they want to commit to a new season, roll up a new character and play. But we do need to start that work early. If we were to wait until the game had launched to begin working on our seasonal content, that content would not be delivered till much later. It might be informed in some way by some feedback we've received from fans, but we need to get things rolling. But there are things we will be responding to in a really rapid turnaround. I think that people that got a chance to play in our beta weekends that took place over the last 6 weeks or so, you'll find that we made a number of balance changes and other adjustments to things like the dungeons in Diablo 4 to ensure that layouts were a little bit cleaner and there was less backtracking in situations where players did need to go backtrack through an area. We would introduce new encounters for them to deal with and gave them buffs to let them move more quickly when they picked up objects they had to carry to a door, like a key or something. So these are like small commitments that we have to improving the game over time. In fact, I've spent almost the entirety of my career working in online RPGs. And the best live service games that we can make are usually born from conversations between the community, the players, and the game developers themselves, so that there's just a regular communication happening. Conversations like this one that we're having now But also, like, even in our live streams and in our various other threads of communication, make sure that we're regularly talking to each other and get a chance to kind of like incorporate the feedback that we're receiving from players and what we're seeing when we look at the data from the game, continue to make the game better and better.
What's it to you?
Oswin, hush. I'm sorry, Wanderer. This madman just stumbled.
Demons and ruins.
Yeah, sure. I'll do one.
Okay.
So so designers have bad ideas every day. Part of our job is to have bad ideas, and it's about combing through all the bad ideas to get to the good ideas. And one of the things that we talk about sometimes on the team is the idea of stakes. And when I say that, what I mean to say is we want to make sure that the player feels like there are things that they stand to lose if they perform badly, if they die, for example. So there was a period of time where we had wanted to have the player lose a significant sum of their gold every time they died in Diablo IV. Very significant sum, but I think it was about half of the gold that they were carrying on any given time. And we found that to simply be too punitive didn't actually yield good results when players were playing. We didn't like it when we play tested it. And as a result, we ended up pulling it out. It made players feel very, very risk averse, such that they wouldn't even consider approaching content that might appear daunting or challenging. They just stay far away from it in an effort to protect all of their gold. So yeah, that's the thing that we had tossed around, even play tested briefly, but ended up pulling it out very quickly.
I would probably message my friend over messaging, and I would say, now I'm from Boston, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
So you have to understand, this is where I'm from. I would say, dude, you got to get this fucking game right now, man, and get online and we're gonna play.
Yep.
That's just where I'm from. That's how we talk. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, I'd say that if I was talking to a friend and I hadn't worked on the game, of course, or I'm just a gamer, I'd say the combat's way more fun than I remember it being in D3. It's like really deep, so come check it out. It's probably where I would probably start, right?
He's from New Hampshire. I'm from Boston. So.
True. Yeah.
You poor thing, traveling in this awful weather.
Oh, I think that the world of Sanctuary is a breathtaking expression of art and design executed brilliantly by the Diablo team.
Now it's for you too.
Yeah.
This is a good exercise because you like my work.
This is a tough exercise because I don't like ascribing greatness to our product when I'd rather let players and reporters talk about what they think of the game. But I guess if I had to say what is a headline that would make me happy to read upon the game being released, I'd say Diablo IV a worthy successor. Yeah, so here's the thing, right? We ran 3 beta weekends, and these were not marketing events. These were beta weekends with the intent of trying to gather all the data we could to ensure that we had a smooth launch for day one. We fixed a ton of problems in the first weekend. We found new problems in the second weekend and fixed those as well. And between the 2 weekends, there was a significant improvement in terms of performance. And even in the third weekend that we just finished, the Server Slam not too long ago, that was a smooth login experience. Players got right into the game and they were able to play pretty easily. But we still found things in the background that were they weren't really player facing, which suggests that players won't notice that these were problems. But if we had not caught them, they may have caused some concerns during the launch day period. So while we fixed even more problems and we look we're in a better spot than ever, all we can do is just do everything we can to prepare ourselves and just prepare and make sure that everything is as hard as it can be. But beyond that, we have to see how things go. And the one thing I will say is I'm very thankful for the work that the online engineering teams have done, preparing for these things. And we know that if we find issues and difficulties, we're going to be able to turn around them pretty quickly.
Yeah, we have a great team.
Yeah.